Okay. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you and to be there today to talk about drug-loaded erythrocytes as a new therapeutic option in oncology and beyond. So just a few words about Erytech to begin. Erytech was founded in 2004 in Lyon, France, and it is using a technology of encapsulation of therapeutic compounds inside red blood cells using our GMP production facilities based both in Lyon and in Princeton in the US. And we have been focused on the past few years in oncology, particularly with our lead product candidate that is eriaspase, a asparaginase enzyme and trapped inside red blood cells. And this product is currently being evaluated in a phase 3 trial for the treatment of pancreatic cancer as a second-line treatment. And this trial is ongoing both in Europe and in the US. I will just give you a few intel about red blood cells to begin. Red blood cells are produced in the bone marrow of flat bones at the rate of 2.4 million per second. And these cells are quite small and flexible, allowing them to go through small vessels to reach the blood circulation, where they will stay for an average lifespan of 120 days before being recycled by the spleen when they get old or when they are damaged. And as you all know, one of the purposes of these cells is to transport oxygen and to remove carbon dioxide using the high content of hemoglobin that represents, let's say, 90% of all red blood cell proteins. And because of these properties, red blood cells have been used for a long time for transfusion. And the first one actually happened in 1818. And since then, their use has increased tremendously, reaching right now about 120 million units of donated blood collected every year. Now, at Erytech, we believe that we can use those red blood cells as drug carriers to develop innovative cancer treatments. Because we already know that those cells are biocompatible, they are already used in clinic for transfusion, so we know they are safe. And stocks of them are already available at blood banks with whom we are already working with. And in addition, we already know the biodistribution of those cells. We know that they can reach almost all parts of the body, and where they can be recycled in the spleen, in the liver. And at Erytech, we take advantage of their permeable membrane properties to load therapeutic compounds inside and to protect the enzymes we trapped inside red blood cells, because we increase their half-life and we increase, therefore, their activity, while reducing their toxicity. I will come back about this a little bit later. Now, the question, how do we entrap therapeutic compounds inside red blood cells? Well, we developed a platform that is the ERYCAPS platform to do that. Basically, you just take your drug substance, you add it to the red blood cells, and you use some hypotonic buffer. This buffer will lead to the entrance of water inside red blood cells, and then the cells will swell, creating pores at their surfaces, and the therapeutic compound will just diffuse inside red blood cells. Finally, we just add some hypertonic resealing solution, leading to the closure of the pores and the entrapment of the therapeutic compounds inside red blood cells. By doing so, we were able to demonstrate that we can reproducibly entrap a wide variety of compounds, from nucleic acids to peptides, or even biggest proteins to 500 kilodaltons. And the strong point of Erytech is that we have been able to scale up this process and to industrialize it to treat so far hundreds of patients. Basically, what happens is that when we receive a prescription for a doctor for a specific patient, we first begin to the sourcing of compatible allogeneic red blood cells. We identify key parameters that allows us to entrap the desired therapeutic compounds inside those cells. And after the QC control of the batch and the shipment to the bed of the patient is possible, all this in 24 hours. Now, using this process, we have been developing an ERYAspase product. As I told you, it's asparaginase enzyme entrapped inside red blood cells to target cancer metabolism. Asparaginase enzyme has been developed to deplete asparagine amino acid in the blood. And in the past 10 to 15 years, it has been demonstrated that most cancer cells actually need high supply of specific metabolites, such as amino acids. And these cells became dependent on these supplies so that when we remove them, it leads to tumor growth inhibition. Us and others have been trying to deplete such amino acids, but different companies have been using different strategies, for example, by blocking amino acid uptake inside cancer cells, or even by inhibiting the capabilities of the cells to synthesize those amino acids necessary for their survival. Now, ERYAspase is the encapsulation of asparaginase. And asparaginase is in fact the first anti-cancer drug that was ever developed to target amino acid content. This molecule leads to the degradation of both asparagine and glutamine amino acids. And when tumor cells are dependent on these amino acids for their growth, it leads to a growth inhibition. This treatment, asparaginase, is already used in clinic for the treatment of acute lymphoid leukemia and also other hematological malignancies. However, it has strong limitations in clinic because of important side effects, such as allergies, toxicities, but also the occurrence of neutralizing antibodies after repeated injection of asparaginase. Finally, this treatment wasn't successful in solid tumors so far, mainly due to toxicity issues. And that's where the encapsulation of ERYAspase, of asparaginase, becomes useful. Because when you entrap asparaginase enzyme inside red blood cells, well, the red blood cell will actively pump asparagine from the blood, and asparagine will be degraded inside red blood cells. And the enzyme will also be protected from the degradation in the blood in the microenvironment, leading to an increased half-life of the molecule and an increased activity, while reducing its toxicity because the enzyme will not go everywhere in the body. By doing so, we are able to create what I name a bioreactor to treat asparagine-dependent tumors, but also to provide asparaginase enzyme to patients that cannot tolerate the free-form compound. Now, what we did using this product was first to focus on pancreatic cancer. That is one of the cancer with the poorest survival rate, that is below 10% after 5 years, and an incidence that is expected to increase even more in the upcoming years. Unfortunately, this condition has suffered from little therapeutic innovation in the past years, with almost no significant improvement in survival with the different treatments that were tested. And interestingly, when we developed ERYAspase, we observed different studies demonstrated that when you deplete either asparagine or glutamine amino acids, it leads to a decrease of cancer cell viability. We and others have been able to reproduce these studies, both in vitro and in vivo, and demonstrated anti-cancer effects of either asparaginase or eriaspase products. And we confirmed this by leading a phase 1 clinical trial demonstrating the safety of eriaspase products to treat these patients. Now we followed up with a phase 2 study to assess this time eriaspase efficacy in the second-line treatment of metastatic pancreatic cancer, comparing the efficacy of eriaspase in combination to chemotherapy and to chemotherapy alone. Now we obtained very interesting results with, as you can see here, an increased overall survival when patients received eriaspase in combination to chemotherapy, with a 40% reduction in risk of death and 40% less new lesions observed. These results are quite promising, and that's why we are trying to validate them in a larger cohort with a phase 3 clinical trial currently ongoing. And currently, we've recruited more than 75% of those patients, so we should have the intermediate study results by the end of the year. Now, to tell you a little bit about other developments we are currently doing, we are developing another product to target cancer metabolism, and I will give you the example of erimethionase product. Erimethionase is this time the encapsulation of methionine gamma lyase enzyme inside red blood cells. And this enzyme will be able to degrade methionine amino acid, leading to the tumor growth inhibition of cancers when they are methionine dependent for their growth. Now, we have been able to demonstrate promising results in both gastric adenocarcinoma and glioblastoma mouse models. As you can see here, when we injected erimethionase in combination with vitamin B6, that is actually the precursor of a cofactor of methionine gamma lyase, we were able to observe a significant anti-tumoral efficacy in both models. In addition to these promising results for cancer treatments, we are also trying to develop our technology for different applications, and specifically for enzyme replacement therapies. Enzyme replacement therapies can be very useful when we want to treat rare genetic disease, and particularly in our case when they are related to metabolic disease. And I will take the example of hyperargininemia. Hyperargininemia is a condition that is induced by an arginase 1 enzyme deficiency in patients. And in patients, we observed increased arginine levels that can reach toxic levels, leading to symptoms such as developmental delay, encephalopathy, seizures, and so on. No efficient treatment has been developed in this condition, and we could just think, to inject the enzymes that are lacking in the patient. But as you know, those enzymes usually have a short half-life, and they are quite immunogenic. And that's why we proposed to entrap an arginine deaminase enzyme inside red blood cells to deplete arginine in patients, leading to the formation of citrulline that will be recycled in the urea cycle. Now, interestingly, when using an arginase 1 deficient mice model, you can see in the blue bars here that we were able to mimic the course of the disease with a progressive increase of arginine levels in the blood of these mice. And interestingly, with one injection of EriAD product, we were able to deplete arginine levels in the blood up to 11 days. And with a second injection of this product here, we were able to maintain arginine depletion all along mice lifespan in this study. So these results are very promising also for the treatment of rare genetic disease associated to metabolism. And now to conclude, I will just give you a quick overview of the preclinical and clinical pipeline of ERYTECH. I already talked about eryaspase in pancreatic cancer treatment, but we are also evaluating its potential for triple-negative breast cancer treatment with a phase 2 trial because of promising preclinical results for this pathology. In addition, we already talked about free asparaginase enzyme in acute lymphoid leukemia. And in this context, we are also evaluating eryaspase potential, particularly to treat patients that cannot tolerate the free-form asparaginase enzyme. Now, I will thank you all for your attention. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
Thank you very much, Bastien.
You're welcome.
At the end of this presentation, we came to the end of this.
Can I ask a question before you end this?
Yeah.
Okay, I actually have a very nice talk and a very interesting technology that you've developed. I have a question regarding the half-life of these modified blood red cells. What is actually the half-life of these? I might have missed that.
Well, basically, when you just do a transfusion in patients, you know, someone that lost too much blood, the half-life of red blood cells injected are 28 days. With our process, when you entrap enzymes inside red blood cells and you inject them to the patient, the half-life is between 24 to 26 days. So 2 to 4 days below that, but it's still quite good. And what is even more interesting is the half-life of the enzyme. If you inject free asparaginase to patients, the half-life will be below 1 day. And using our process, when the enzyme is entrapped inside red blood cell, the half-life of the enzyme protected inside the cells will be something like 18 days. So it's way more than the free enzyme. And the depletion of asparagine can be measured for a very long time, for about 12 days in the blood, compared to 1 or 2 days of
A little bit of a follow-up on this. So if blood cells with your cargo rupture, did you observe any immunogenic response to that, or was that too seldom you actually saw that?
Well, we are still evaluating this point in the clinical trials, but usually the cells will be slowly recycled, and when we inject the product, there is not a lot of cells that liberates asparaginase, meaning that even if some antibodies occurs progressively, they will not be able to reach the asparaginase that is still shielded inside red blood cells. So we didn't observe any immunologic response in patients treated with eryaspase due to this phenomenon, even if sometimes we observe anti-asparaginase antibodies, but they cannot reach the target.
So how often did you see these anti-enzyme antibodies? I mean, was that in all cases or in some cases?
The thing is, it depends on the number of injections often we have to do to the patient. This product, eryaspase, is usually injected every 2 weeks to the patient, and anti-asparaginase antibodies, they will not occur after, let's say, a dozen of injections, so it takes a few months to even observe them, but still when we can observe them in patients, we didn't have any immunological reactions.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.